All right, we thought today was going to be the day Deshaun Watson was going to meet with the media. Silly us. It's been the day that the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns meets with the media for who knows how long. Deshaun Watson, he's going to be the starting quarterback for the Browns on Sunday when he returns to Houston, and Deshaun Watson did not meet with the media. Let's discuss that, plus some of the silly stuff that Lovie Smith had to say. It's just a gift that keeps on giving every time old Lovie goes up to the podium. Let's start with the Deshaun thing. This was interesting. Kevin Stefanski, the head coach of the Browns, made it clear this was a PR decision, not his decision. And as I do every time when we speak about something, I try to get every POV, every point of view. What is the payoff? Why not send Deshaun Watson up there to the podium? Many people believe that this is a bad decision by the Cleveland Browns because it puts you in a tougher spot. It puts Kevin Stefanski in a tough spot. It puts other players in a tough spot. It puts Watson in a tough spot because now the media is going to they're going to eventually ask the questions, and now it just kind of seems, you've kind of jerked him around a little bit. You waited till the morning to announce that he wasn't going to speak. You did so, and now he's not going to face the music. And furthermore, he's been gone for 3 months. So you should have had this marked on your calendar. We've had a lot of Deshaun Watson silence. You knew he was going to come back. You were going to try to get him in the fold. You were going to try to get him acclimated. You were going to try to get him ready. So from a football perspective, you have that plan. From a PR perspective, surely you know that eventually your quarterback's going to have to go speak. So that's the perspective of people that think it's a bad decision. Some people, and this is the simp perspective. This is the fan that, just says, well, why would he want to talk to the media? The media is just going to twist his words, so on and so forth. Yes, that is going to happen. And it's unfortunate. I don't think everyone that has covered Deshaun Watson, I don't think everyone has done it balancing out the gray area of how you're supposed to cover such a thing, but that's just how stuff goes. And quite frankly, when you have Quincy Avery attacking Drew Brees the way he did after, Drew Brees said what he said and just pouncing on him, he's pounced on Dabo Sweeney in the past. Your camp has kind of thrown some smoke to similar types of situations when people have gotten in situations like this. So you kind of know how the game goes. Could it be a smart decision? This is the other point of view. Could it be a smart decision for Deshaun Watson not to be sent to the podium? Here's the thing, and I'll localize it, which is what I like to do because I do cover the Houston Texans on a daily basis, and I think that it's a service to your listeners, to your viewers, to localize things so they get like the localized POV. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And if you don't have the Odyssey app and don't listen to Sports Radio 610, 10 to 2 Monday through Friday, shame on you. Shout out to all the loopholes that do. If you listen, you are one. Brandon Cooks doesn't go to the podium for the Houston Texans. And I know Brandon Cooks and Deshaun Watson is different situations, but Brandon Cooks doesn't go to the podium. In large part, it's because he doesn't really buy what they sell anymore with the Texans. At least that's what it seems like. He went from one of the culture guys to a guy that, won't even – he basically says you have to ask Nick Caserio what his culture is. Why the hell are you asking me? So the Texans don't send him there because it would make them look bad. It would make them look silly. Is that what the Browns are going to do with Deshaun Watson? I mean, it is your starting quarterback. Are they going to not send their starting quarterback to the podium and make him available for games on Sunday? Are they going to change up the schedule and have him there on Thursdays or Friday instead? I don't know. But if that does happen, and this is the thing that I don't think Deshaun Watson can do, and you see Lovie Smith say it all the time, and I can actually understand to a certain point when Lovie Smith says this, although he makes a fool of himself the more and more he talks after games. But if you are going to do that, then when Deshaun Watson goes up to the podium, then he can't, I don't think he can say, well, I just want to focus on what's going on in the game. like what's going on in the game? What do you let's just focus on what's going on in the game. I'm not here to talk about anything else. I don't think you can do that if you're not available during the week. And that's why Brandon Cooks, you know, during his media availability had to kind of answer those types of questions. So that I do think it kind of eliminates that. I think they should have sent him up there. Because he's going to have to do it. And I don't think Deshaun Watson should have to go up there and repeat the same press conference that he had, you know, a couple of times before the suspension. I don't think he should go up there and have to say, you know, are you sorry? What about your, you know, your, I don't think he should have to answer all those questions. But the questions that are relevant from the 3-month time period, I think should be asked. And I think if he attacks it the right way, assuming that he's having the right people in his ear. And I saw that, I think Brian Burney replied to Jake Trotter saying Watson wasn't talking with like a whoa. Brian, you've done such a good job on NIL and you're so good at all this business stuff, man. Like I know you want to ride and die with your dude, and props to you, but man, you're not helping the guy out, man. Like you're not helping the guy out. And a lot of times in these situations, like when athletes find adversity, people like give them a lot of support. A lot of times it's because there really is that loyalty, those hashtag family ties. But a lot of times it's also just because it's an opportunity for you to kind of grab even more control. Deshaun needs to go up there, answer the questions. The questions are going to be asked like, what have you learned from, you know, the therapy that you went through? Do you feel like you're better off? Someone will ask him, do you have any remorse now? There is a lot of I got you in it. And I can't imagine, like, especially Deshaun, who's kind of maintained that, you know, he doesn't think that he's done everything that he's accused of. It is kind of probably hard for him to go up there and do that, but you're going to have to do it. It's part of it, man. It's why you're getting the $250 million guaranteed. So he's going to have to do it, but I do understand why it would get old for him to have to answer these same questions. I do understand why the media and a lot of people in Cleveland do a good job of covering things. I do understand why the media is frustrated, but it's something he's going to eventually have to do. I'm sure there's some sort of thought behind it as to why the Browns PR decided not to put him out there. I just don't know that that's going to do them too many favors. It'll be interesting to see like how the schedule plays out and stuff. But I was disappointed. I wanted to hear what he had to say. I'm looking forward to seeing him play. We've had a lot of good memories watching Deshaun Watson on the field out there. A lot of fond memories. He was the hope for a long, long time. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play. And regardless of what he didn't do, however you feel about it, I think there's definitely a middle ground. I don't think it's like some sort of like calculated money grab on all accounts. But I do think there's like some middle ground. I wish the best for Deshaun Watson, like moving forward as kind of like as a man of God, you gotta wish the best for someone moving forward. Now, I hope he sucks on Sunday, and I hope he sucks for the remainder of the season. But I hope his best days are ahead of him, and whatever lessons he needed to learn, and whatever's going on, that Deshaun Watson only like the best days are ahead of him. Can only hope for that, and I hope the best days are ahead of the Texans as well. Some comments. Jeremy says, smart decision. Media is looking for a headline as fast as possible before the game. Cleveland wants the media to focus on football with the PSA announcement about women going to the game. Okay. Maybe that's what they're thinking. Don't know. The questions hit different if he's winning games. Disagree with that significantly, Jeremy. I think you might need to take a step back. That's not if you think Deshaun's just going to win games and people are going to shut up, you're crazy. And you do not have a future in PR. No disrespect to you. Appreciate you for being in. But you're telling me that if Deshaun just wins and goes to the Super Bowl, that there's going to be less attention and less scrutiny? You're crazy, man. It's not gonna die down. It's only gonna get crazy. That's the other part of it is there's not really like a tempering the storm. Not in this type of climate, not in these types of situations. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. But if you think Deshaun, like winning cures a lot of things, but when it comes to stuff like this, Deshaun Watson's not going to win games, and all of a sudden the questions are going to hit different. You're crazy. Like it's going to be even worse. So that's not going to happen. MB says Deshaun is just going to defective. Please, he gets asked questions anyway, so just send him. Are his feelings really that fragile? Who knows if it was Deshaun's decision, or who knows if it was the Browns' decision? Milk 35 Super Bowl time this year for the Browns. Okay, we'll see. Facebook user says no, not sure why. Someone's rooting for an injury. That's mean. That's really, really mean. But we'll see. We'll see what comes of it when we hear from Deshaun Watson. Could be at the podium. Who knows? Depends how you look at it. I personally would have sent him up there and had him answer the questions. I'm sure the Browns had something in mind. And hopefully for the sake of him, he does a better job answering questions than he has, because he's been a disaster. He's really been a disaster since he signed the contract with the 9-to-5 comments and all that type of stuff. Like he's really been kind of a real PR disaster, really since he signed the contract, and he hasn't handled that too well. So maybe that's what they're thinking. Maybe they just don't trust Deshaun Watson to go up there and answer the questions, but he's going to have to. And the more success, it's going to get more difficult, not easier. I can promise you that. Anyone who says otherwise is just very, very, very mistaken. Juan Rosales says Detroit calls Caserio off in 3rd overall in their pick and a 2nd-round pick. Would you take it, or you take Young? Man, I don't know. I'm intrigued by the trade possibility. I'm also intrigued by Bryce Young. I'm sure they'll figure something out and they'll work the phones. But no Deshaun Watson today. We'll have to wait to hear from him. Will it be just at the game? Who knows? But Cleveland's getting kind of scrutinized a little bit. But let's be honest, and this is the other perspective. They would be getting criticized anyways if he was up there. So that's where we're at. I want to pull up a couple of things that Lovie Smith said before I get out of here. The head coach of the Houston Texans. This guy, he's pretty funny sometimes. This was Lovie talking about Derek Stingley. And the funniest thing about pissed off Lovie, keep this in mind before you hear this. Last week, Lovie Smith refused to say whether or not Kyle Allen was going to be the starter. And he cited some weird competitive advantage that didn't really make a lot of sense to a lot of people. And it made even less sense because we saw Robert Saleh and the Jets announce their quarterback on Wednesday. Keep in mind, this is a week later. This is on Wednesday. And keep in mind, this is unsolicited. This is Hardo Lovie being asked. He's asked by Aaron Wilson about Amari Cooper, wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns, and the challenges of covering Amari Cooper.
He's as I said, he's a one receiver, and he's a great college player. There's a reason why he's, you look at his bank account, he's getting paid the way that he is. So it'll be a challenge without Derek. That was the case last week.
Without Derek? Is he telling us that Derek's not playing? Is that not a competitive advantage? I mean, you wouldn't even say who the quarterback is. Now you're talking about without Derek? What are we doing, Lovie? The dude can't even keep up with what he gets mad about. Without Derek? You telling us something? You breaking news? Or is he trying to pull a slick one? By the way, what if Kevin Stefanski went Lovie Smith this week and wouldn't announce Deshaun as the starter? How hilarious would that be? That'd be real funny. Here's another thing Lovie said that I thought was pretty interesting. This was about facing a lot of heavy fronts on offense. This was Lovie Smith talking about Dameon Pierce facing, 8 and 9 man fronts.
I'm going to say that's been the case since game one. Defensively, you can always get an extra guy in the box every snap. And for running football teams, that's life in NFL. Yes, there's been great interior defensive linemen.
It's not really life in the NFL. It's life in the NFL for bad quarterbacks, probably. He also went on to say they still got to try to run it. I wonder how much Lovie Smith, I don't want to say controls, but it tries to nudge Pep Hamilton in playing offensive football a certain way. Because he talks about wanting to run the ball. He talks about you still got to run when there's guys in the box. If you have a good quarterback, you don't see those heavy fronts. Just more examples of Lovie. Just pretty amusing. I don't know if and I've been through worse things. I mean, we've all been through worse things going, covering this Texans team. I don't know if I can go through another year of Lovie. I really don't. I think it was fine for this year, but man, another year of Lovie, it just seems really tough for me. Can they afford to go one and done again? That's another question, but Lovie's becoming tougher and tougher. And let's be honest, it has as much to do with, the type of coach and, the type of coach he's established himself as in the last 2 decades. Let's finish up with some more comments. Juan says, you think Watson plays bad when the weather starts getting cold in Cleveland? That's a lot of the talking points. I was actually asked about that by my buddies, former coworkers, Ken Carmen, Anthony Lima. I think it's the top radio show in the country, maybe top morning. It's one of the best. Those two guys are just brilliant and entertaining. They're bringing up the cold weather. I do think it's a factor. Deshaun Watson's never really played a lot in cold weather. When he was in Cleveland last time, and it was when the Texans faced the Browns there, it was some really, 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 really bad weather, but he wasn't very good. I think that is something to keep an eye on, how he handles the cold weather, because it's hard enough to come back and play football when you're rusty and you haven't played a regular season game in 700 games. But when you're doing it and you're going to have to do it in some cold weather down the stretch, I do definitely think that's something to keep an eye on. And it's not just something that Texans fans are throwing out. They're talking about that in Cleveland as well on one of the best media platforms that I think you can find in Cleveland. He can't hide Sunday. It's all right. Yeah, he'll get to talk. Joseph says, I hate how Titus Howard was saying, I can't wait to see what he does. Get that bleep out of here. No dogs here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know what Titus meant by that, but the Titus is tidy. What about keeping Lovie one more year and bringing McCown for OC, then passes it to him in 2024? I don't know, man. I don't know if I can get on that McCown train again. I was on it for quite a while. I don't know if I can get on that. Who are your favorite candidates if Lovie is gone after this year? Man, we've talked about this so much. D'Amico Ryans, maybe LaFleur from the Jets. If you want to go defense, Dan Quinn with the Cowboys, although D'Amico would be the better option. And then, I mean, Kellen Moore. There's a lot. I don't know who Casario's favorite would be. I like some like under the radar guys that Casario actually does have some like New England connections with. So I don't want to like Bubba Ventrone with the Colts. There's a lot of appealing names. Just whoever you feel is best equipped with the quarterback. You won't be able to get any of those head coaches to Houston unless you let the coach pick the top 2 picks. I don't know about that. Not sure about that really at all. Like, no idea. Just know Deshaun Watson ducked the media today. Lovie Smith, he probably should duck the media because the more he talks, the sillier things get. The point of view from the Browns PR, point of view from Watson, point of view from the people. It's going to be a very fun week. It's going to be an entertaining week. Could be a depressing week. Could be a fun week. Who knows? You never know. when it comes to the Texans. But no matter what, we are in this together. Have a good one.